YouTube friends. Happy Friday. How are you? Me? I just took a shower. It's like 12:30, quarter to 1. It was the night was better than the night before. Simba, you're crooked here, so Simba didn't see the need to play with his little kitty toy in bed with me. So I just got out of the shower, got dressed, and I just want to come on real quick. Mr. Jerry is taking a little siesta or kitty nap because today he got up with the cats. What we are discovering is that just like y'all said, I mean, and we know that you just get impatient because you just want to love on the babies. So they are waking us up about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and he definitely, Mr. Simba, knows what a can of cat food is. He definitely knows. So what we've discovered is I think they were both used to wet food. Even though we have dry food out, they weren't eating. So they were hungry. And so yesterday we put out some wet food and it was gone. I mean, it was gone. And so about the time we went to bed after 11 yesterday, Jerry put out a good, helping of the wet food. And then they had dry food left. And when they got him up this morning, no, actually when they got me up first, and I went out because I was thinking, okay, they're probably hungry. So I went out there and I was shocked. Everything was gone. The dry food was gone. The wet food was gone. Everything was gone. And so I went and got the wet food out and he came a-running, and I put the rest of it in there and he immediately started eating it. Then I got her, and I took a scoop of our fresh dry food and put that in the dish. She come running and she sniffed it, but she ran, and then of course he ran. But he is the first one who is slowly coming out of their shell. I mean, from the standpoint of yesterday, he kept coming out in the sunroom with us, and Jerry's got him so that all he has to do is just call him and pat the side of the couch and he'll jump up on the couch. And but she was the one that we were a little concerned with, because she went from being in the sunroom to hiding yesterday. The cats know where to find hiding places when they don't want to be found. We tore the house apart. I mean, we looked under every stick of furniture, under the bed, I mean, in doors that hadn't been open, closets just in case, we looked and looked and looked. And finally I said to him, I said, well, she'll come out. We just wanted to make sure she wasn't hurt. And yes. So I'm in my craft room and we found her in the bookcase that Mr. Simba likes to be up on top, and she is in a shelf that only has about this much wide space. Yeah, and you'll probably hear her. So that was her hiding place. I noticed some ribbons were out of place, so when I moved it, I heard her. So what? She's rubbing up on my leg. I pick her up, but she's not comfortable. I can pet her and pet her and pet her, and we do pick her up, but she wants right back down. Yeah? Just a second. I thought I could get her for you, but she's back behind the chair, and now she just came back out, and so she's hollering at me. But this is really good for her because now she's been in this room and he's up in his perch, and so at least she wasn't hiding under furniture. Yes, she's hiding behind the chair on the shelf. Aren't you pretty, girl? Aren't you pretty, girl? You gonna come see Mama? You gonna come see Mama? And she's talking. We've discovered they both are talkers. Yeah. Yeah. Where are you? Hi, honey. So with her, any noise, even the creak of the chair, she'll run. So you can hear her. She's by my feet. Where are you? I don't want to roll over you. So she probably wants me to go out in the other room where her food is. Yeah. So last night we just, you know, let her be. We found her and touched her and talked to her a little bit. But Simba's starting to jump down from the perch, and he'll come and he'll explore and stuff. But I was thinking last night, oh my goodness, she's not going to be a loving kitty. And it was just the tiredness setting in and everything. She's going to be always skittish and hiding from us, you know. And I don't know. I laid in bed and I was exhausted, could not fall asleep. Jerry went right out. Simba, as soon as I turned off the light, of course, Simba jumped right up on the bed. And he laid right at my feet where he normally does. And as soon as I turned out the light by the bed, then he started crying. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to do this. So I turned the light back on. And he sat right there. And well, she's getting brave. She's going out to the other room by herself. And that's a good sign. So once I turned the light on, then he came up by me, and for some reason he likes laying right on my chest. And when he purrs, he does this, like Jerry says, like he's got peanut butter stuck to the roof of his mouth. So when he purrs, he's like, you can just kind of see it. He doesn't do it all the time, but sometimes. And when we looked it up, the only thing we could find, because it's not like the constant where the tongue's coming out, it's just like your tongue gets stuck to the roof of the mouth. It can be anywhere from extra senses to feeling, you know, comfortable. And but then he usually would lay on me, and then not long, and I'm talking like maybe 10 seconds, if that, and then he would go over to Jerry, and then Jerry could pet him, and then he'd go back down to the foot of the bed, and she just come running in. Yeah. So last night he got all settled in, and what, honey? So, and I finally fell asleep, and about 2, I woke up to her crying, and she jumped up on the side of the bed. I put a blanket in the chair. Yeah, and I don't want to startle her. She jumped up on the shelf, and now she's on the cushion of the chair. See if I can. Look at the big brave girl. And of course, he's way up on top. Way up on top. And his eyes are closed, so. But last night when she jumped up beside me, she was purring, and I got to love on her, and I got to put my arm around her and snuggle her tight to me, and she just laid there. And then she got up and walked across my chest to Jerry. He was sleeping, and she was crying, so I nudged him to wake him so he could touch her. And then she came back across on by my hip, and she proceeded to lay down on this little bit of bed that we had left, and she washed herself probably for a good 5 minutes or so. And every once in a while she'd pop her head up to check on brother, because he was down by Jerry's feet. He was sprawled out. Jerry's legs are like this, and there's a cat between the feet, and Jerry woke up, and I said, I said, you have your boy by your feet. And he goes, oh, and he kind of raised up to look, and he goes, oh, sorry. And I saw his feet go a little bit further, and I says, what? And he goes, he just stretched out. And I looked, and you could see he was sprawled. So I fell back to sleep, and I don't know how long they were in bed with us, but like I said, about 5:30, they both woke me up, and I figured, well, they're probably hungry, so I'll go feed them, which I did. And then I came back to bed, and then she used the litter box, but this time it was a holler, but not bad. But Simba was up on the bed, and as soon as she was in there digging, and then she kind of yowled a little, he jumped down and went in there. And I thought, just like the big brother protecting Sissy here. So, but anyways, I did get my knit shawl done last night, and right now it is in for its what I call its bath. And then once that's done, I will put it in a towel, and I will squeeze it, you know, to get the excess water out. And then I will lay it out on the table. I was going to get out my mats and everything, but we'll see how she's doing. I just might lay towels out and just stretch it out as far as it will go. And get my pins, and just like my sewing pins, maybe I'll take those out there, because this is the first time she's been up on a piece of furniture besides our bed without anybody there with her. So I did get that done, and I was so thankful for that, because it was like 471 stitches, and it was several new stitches I've never done before. And the last one was called a flip-flop, which left it like an X. So you got X's running through it in the 3 different colors of the minis. And then the bind off was called, I think, a lace bind off, and it is super easy. I think it's called something else. She said she has a tutorial on it, but all you do is that you knit through the back stitches of the first 2, pull it off, and then put that one single stitch back on your left hand needle and knit through the back loop, pull it off, and then repeat that. And that's what will take them off. And you know, really, for 471, I just put something on TV, and it went by super fast anyways. So and it does give a nice edging for the work that we just did on it. It's mine anyways isn't curling, and sometimes that will happen. So I'll get this soaked and try to get it stretched out the best I can. And I'm just looking at my design board behind you. I usually put up, because if I get it pretty much dry, I might be able to stretch it out on that. Because now, you know, we got cats, I got to think about that. I could, when Callie and Chanel were with us, they never bothered them. I could put them out on the floor. I didn't have to worry about them picking needles or pins or anything. But these two, especially the rascal up high, he is a curious orange cat. So, oh, she's getting up. She's going back into her bookshelf, which is fine. So Mr. Jerry ordered some, he researched wet cat food, and he ordered some off from Amazon. We should get it today. The thought process is it can be expensive, especially if both cats are doing the wet food. But they say if you give your cats wet food, then do it once in the morning and once before you go to bed. And then just have the dry food supplement out there for them to eat. So that's what we're going to do. But yeah, and then yesterday we went out and checked the garden, and it was very, very windy yesterday, and that wind had blown over the top of my pea plants. they're sticking like this far above the trellis, and knocked them forward. Didn't break them, but knocked them forward. And some of the potato plants are knocked forward into where the peppers are. And Jerry yesterday was going to see what he could do to pull them back up. I just think he just needs probably to get string to hook from the fence that goes around to hook to the fence a little higher. But they're getting tall enough that I could probably just push them over on themselves. So my eye itches, sorry. The cabbages and the cauliflower look really good. They're not forming heads yet, but I didn't plant them until the end of May, and it's been so hot for them. Today is a beautiful day. Yesterday and today. Yesterday we only got maybe to 71. The majority of the day was in the 60s. And then today it got down to 59, and it's supposed to be in the low 70s. So this is the type of weather that those crops like, but the other ones don't really care for it. So, so I'm figuring about August, because everybody's telling me in my gardening groups that everything's about a month behind. So I'm figuring August, and I can always grow more cabbages if these don't form a head. So I would have to start them pretty soon. I think the cabbages I have are like 50 to 70 days. So, and they're saying our first frost date is the middle of October, roughly. But they say that cabbages don't mind a little frost. In fact, it makes them kind of sweeter, just like your carrots. So, I would have to count back from the frost date. I think I heard October 20th, something like that, and see how long it takes to germinate, and then I add on to that if it takes 7 days or 10 days or whatever, and then count back the 70 days and see where that puts me. Even if it puts me into the end of October, beginning of November, they might be okay. And I won't be growing a lot because it would just be for fresh eating. But I do know that once the volunteer potatoes are pulled up, and they should be pulled up 2 weeks earlier than the others, there'll be a bed open right there, and I can plant that stuff in there. Unless the cabbage gets the heads and I can pull some out, then I can replant some there. But because I'm being told that we're getting close enough for our area that the white butterfly that lays all the cabbage larvae that destroys all your brassicas, you know, your cauliflower, cabbage, and all that stuff, won't be out too much longer, just like all the vine borer bug that lays the larva in the dirt around your squash, so the babies can go up and kill your squash. So knock on wood, so far his acorn squash, I have 3 huge plants. They've about taken over the spot I put them in, but they don't vine, they just grow straight up. And so they are looking good and looking better than last year's. Green beans, I planted more, and they're growing, but they're not as thick as I would like them to be. I was thinking they'd be a lot thicker, but my green beans, the lower leaves, some of them have turned yellow, and I, nipped those right off, and some had little, I would call them like a little rust spot on them, and I would break those off so it doesn't go to the rest of them, because the rest of them look really, really good. And the peppers, I've got a couple more regular pepper plants coming on. I haven't looked to see what ones they are, because I planted purple, and I planted yellow, and red. I think red. I'll have to look because they all look the same. They all look the same. I won't tell the difference. Well, I did leave the little tags that marks what they are. But now I'm starting to get some of those, and I'm getting more Roma tomatoes and more flowers on the tomatoes. And I haven't ever grown tomatoes before, just like I've never done potatoes or cabbage or cauliflower. Celery I haven't done before, and that's looking really good. They are all probably now getting up to maybe 15, 16 inches. Well, are they? They might be a foot tall, but they're standing up, and it actually looks like a bunch of celery, but in baby form, because the stalks are still little, but they got the ribbing going up in them. And like I said before, they are so dark green. So they're looking good. Cucumbers, the leaves are just giant on them. I have lots of flowers going. And so they're growing up on the trellis, and the tomatoes or aromas are underneath. And the reason I put them underneath was because I was told 3 to 5 feet they're going to grow the Roma tomatoes. My goodness, Jerry's like 5'8", 5'9", something like that, and they're as tall as he is. And actually, they might be even taller because there's a couple of them that have shot right straight up through the cattle panel arch. So I just have some string tied to the trellis end top. I have a stake going up, and then I have plant clips to hold the stalks. But I'm trying to think. My carrots they're looking good. I won't know until they're done, but they still got a ways to go. They're probably, the tops are probably 4 or 5 inches tall. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else I got out in the garden, but that might be it. I'm going over each bed. Jerry's winter squash, which is like the butternut orange squash, that's growing. And his baby ones, they're growing up, the vines and everything. I'm trellising them, and what I'm doing is that I'm trying to nip the leaves that branches that are laying on the dirt, because that's what will cause bugs to get on them and then go up in your plant. So I nip them as close to the main stem as I can. And then as they're going up, they're not a natural climber. We just get those clips. They're just plastic clips, and I just clip them to the trellis. And these are pretty sturdy trellises made out of cattle panel. And we did that last year, and it worked out well. So he is the only one that eats squash. I have tried. I think it's more of a texture for me. But I'd like to try them roasted to see if that's it. If I can eat them roasted. I find I never cared for asparagus until somebody suggested roasting them. And you can roast them on the grill, but you can also roast them in your oven. And I did that one year at a Thanksgiving, and I got some asparagus, and I broke them where they naturally wanted to break, washed and cleaned them, and then I put olive oil over them and salt and pepper, and then I can't remember how long I baked them for and stuff. I really liked them. Jerry didn't care for them. No one else really cared for them, but I liked them that way. So, but all of these should store well once they are ripe. If you put them in a place that is a little bit cooler, even if it's in your house, in a dark area, they should keep. So, and I wanted to show you, I did get some happy mail from Hypnotic Yarns. And this was her July. I get the DK, and my thought was these were going to be, all the DK would be for Christmas socks, and so far none of them have made it. I think this one will be for our daughter for Christmas, because y'all, I got to get going. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 socks to make, so plus Jerry's 8. So, but this one is called Saltwater Taffy. It is in her plush DK. It is her 8515 Superwash Merino nylon. 246 yards, 100 grams. And there is her cute little logo. And this is what it looks like. I got the camera on. She's back there. You can say hi so they know I'm not talking just to the cats.
I'm going to take off. Bye.
So this right here is what it looks like. And I think because I'm getting that itch back to knit a pair of socks, and I do have my ball winder and Swiffer sitting out in the other room. Since it's in here, I'm trying to make this so this is a safe haven for them until they get adjusted to a lot of noises. And that's why I haven't sold or anything. I mean, eventually I will, but you know, they haven't even been here a week. So, but anyways, I think I'm going to this weekend wind this up, and I will use US 3 needles for that. But I just, and the other thing I pulled out was my mosaic blanket, because I haven't been working on anything but that shawl, because I wanted to get that done. And so I'm starting the section of the bathing suits with the beach umbrellas. So that will take precedence. I still am working, I still have the knitted sweater that I was working on. But this gal announced, Rosina, the designer, announced that she's going to have a crochet along, and it will be another mosaic one, and I'm going to want to do it. I know I am. So I want to try to get this gift pretty close to done, and if I don't, I will work on both and, you know, go from there. But right now, today's a good day for it because we got a good breeze and the air is off and fresh air is coming in. So, but anyways, thank you again, my friends. And at the end here, I will put Simba discovered his and hers. They both is meant for them, their cat tower, and he discovered it today. And it's a lengthy, maybe close to 1:20 or whatever. If you want to see him discover it and watch it, that's fine. And if you don't, it's no big deal. But I'll put it towards the end. And I will show you a video of Miss Nyla when she allows me to. But so far, the only time that she's out and about with us is at nighttime when we're in bed and the camera's put away. So... but I'll definitely try to take when I can get her. So, but anyways, thanks again, my friends. I know it is a much lengthier one, and but I will not be on Saturday or my Saturday or Sunday. Be back on Monday, and other than that, no special plans. I'm just going to be home this weekend. Mr. Jerry's going to an auction Saturday. He has a doctor's appointment, routine doctor's appointment on Tuesday, and then Friday we have 50 pounds of peaches coming up from the peach truck from Georgia. So that following weekend we will be doing peaches. I plan on canning the majority of them and freezing some and leaving some out for fresh eating. We went through probably 3/4 of the peaches I did last year. We did pint jars and a light syrup, and so we had a good routine. He basically was peeling them, and I was slicing them, because the ones we got last year did not want to come apart to get that pit out, so you had to slice around the pit no matter what we tried. So we're hoping this year. Yeah, he just took and he sat down out by his TV, and he did a big a bowl full, and then I got that bowl and I would slice it up into a separate pan, and once that got filled, then, you know, I went and got another bowl, and we just repeated that until everything was ready to be processed, because they have to be, I'll have to look. I don't want to tell you. I am not for sure that they're water bath, but they could be, but they might not be. So, but anyways, thanks again, my friends. Thanks for listening, and I hope that your weekend is good. I hope that whatever craft you're doing is good, and I hope your garden is going good. And Miss Janet, I still say that even though that they're smaller, it's better than last year, isn't it? That's the one thing I'm trying to do, is to look at my garden, and if something doesn't come out like I think it should or hope it should, then I'm trying to be thankful for the things that are. And, you know, grateful for whatever I can get out of my garden. So, because I do so enjoy it. So, till we can meet up again, stay strong. We got this, and let's meet again on Monday, on my Monday, whatever day it might be for you. So, see you soon, my friends.